Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 4. Today we will explain about variability in interlanguage. Before I start my explanation, let me introducing myself and my partner. My name is Putri Pratama Lestari, and there are my partner Rahma Meiliyanti, Ranji Perdan, Ria Maradha, Rian Ahmadi, and Tiffanie. First material will be explained by me. Variability. Variability refers to cases where a second language learner uses two or more linguistic variants to express a phenomenon which has only one relation in the target language. According to Alice, 1985, she gave the example, the sentence example from the student that learner second language. No, look my card, or don't look my card. In trying to explain the source of such variability in second language acquisition, researchers have generally worked from an assumption. First elaborated in work by Leboeuf, 1972, on native speakers of English, that variability is a systematic function of a factor like degree of formality of the context of utterances and the nature of the surrounding linguistic context. And variability, there are two types of variability, and that two type will be explained by my partner is Tiffanie.
Okay, this is my turn. I'm going to explain about types of variability. Types of variability divided into systematic variability and non-systematic variability. Systematic variability. According to Alice 1992, systematic variability can result from linguistic context, situational context, and psychological context. The status of the variability in the language use of native speakers has been viewed very differently linguists. It depends on whether they approach it in terms of homogeneous competence model or heterogeneous competence model. Systematic variability, according to Chomsky, pragmatic knowledge is systematics. It doesn't need to be taken into account when explaining linguistic competence. Systematic variability can result from situational variability, linguistic variability, and psycholinguistic variability. So for more explanation will be explained by my friends.
Situational variability. There are the example of situational variability. When a learner is asked to answer the teacher's question in a class, he will make mistakes which he will never make it in a grammar test. He is in urgent situation and has no time to make full use of his linguistic knowledge. Tarrant suggests a style continuum ranging from the vernacular style to the careful style in accordance with the demands of the situation. Some research by Beep 1981 prove that learners do not always manifest the target-like variant in a careful language use. The explanation for this may be that a learner's production is influenced by his first language or awareness of his own identity or etc. Style shifting is a complex process, and learners' production of the target language is shifted by different style required.
I will continue explain from Putri Pratama Lestari about linguistic variability. Linguistic variability. Linguistic context refers to the elements that precede and follow the variable structure in question. Variability in learner language that is induced by the effects of the linguistic context means that when the linguistic context changes, the learner's production of the target language also changes. The variability is evident at the phonological, morphological, and syntactic levels of a language. Learners will make errors or mistakes in one type of sentence, but not in another type of sentence. When the linguistic context changes, the interlanguage also changes. Linguistic variation is central to the study of language use. In fact, it is impossible to study the form of language use in natural text without the problem of linguistic variability. Inherent variability in human language. A single speaker will speak a different language, of forms on different occasions, and speakers of different language will express the same meaning using different forms. Most of these variations are very systematic. Speakers of a language make choice in pronunciation, morphology, word choice, and grammar, depending on a number of non-language factors. These factors include the speaker's purpose in communication, the relationship between speaker and listener, state of production, and the various demographic affiliation speakers can have. The variables that occur due to linguistic. So, if the linguistic changes, the language also changes. So, if the elements change, everything changes. For example, from the simple present, I go to school. Now, if I change it to past tense, it will change the whole sentence. Not only the sentence structure, but the phonology is also. So, I went to school yesterday. Then in the SLA, the existing variable will affect the language of Thailand because if, for example, we make it in Indonesian, the present form I go to school as usual, then if I change it to past tense, it remains the same, but if changed to another language is different, right? It also affects the learner to think that if a sentence from one language continues to be changed to another language automatically, and the linguistic in that language changes too. Okay, next will be explained Rahma Meiliyanti.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rahma Meiliyanti. Okay, today I will explain about physical linguistic variability and its not systematic variability. Physical linguistic variability. Physiological context refers to the extent to which the type of language used upward time for planning and encourage or discourages monitoring. According to Helton in 1984, investigate the effects of time freezer, focus of attention, and metalingual knowledge and accuracy. The result indicate the neither metalingual knowledge nor time freezer that influence the other two aspects of the learner performance, response duration, and speech rate. If the learner use the planning time to focus on the linguistic form, increased accuracy will result. But if they use the time to plan and organize informational content, accuracy is less likely to achieve. And physical-linguistic factor to do with the learner's emotional or physical condition can lead to sleep, hesitation, and repetition. Next is non-systematic variability. Non-systematic variability refers to the one is prevalent in early stage and continues throughout the developed period. This is the variation applied in the hazard use of two or more alternate forms which exist within the learner interlanguage, and the native speaker language is used also characterized by non-systematic variability. In general, non-systematic variability has not received much attention from linguists who have preferred to explore systematic variability. According to Bickerton in 1975, however, has disputed the prevalence contextual theory of linguistic variation. He observed, while with the help of little hindsight, a plausible contextual explanation can be given for many stylistic shifts. There are many more that operate in quite unpredictable ways. Interlanguage is also characterized by non-systematic variability, which is of two types, performance variability and free variability. Okay, next will be explained by Rian Ahmadi Perdana.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rian Ahmadi Perdana and I'm from Group 4 and I will explain about performance variability. Performance variability is the result of some failure of performance, including slip of tongue, false starts, derivation from rules, changes of mind, and so on. And according to Hackett 1948, reverse to this as lapse, they may be the effect of the learner's psychological and emotional factor. And then according to Chomsky 1965, this type of variability is not part of the language user's competence. It occurs when the language user is unable to perform his competence. And last is a typical example in English would be there is problem which I don't know how to solve it. Variable 1969 sentence like this are normally readily perfectible by the speaker himself. However, not all non-systematic variability is of this type. I think that's all. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I will explain the last chapter in this presentation. It is a free variability. Free variability refers to the phenomenon that the learner possesses two or more forms which he uses to realize the same range of meanings. It is the result of competing rules in the learners of competence. And for example, native speakers may use pairs like I and A for either who and non retractive relative clause. Interlanguage, in contrast, is marked by a high level of free variability, a characteristic that is important for explaining how interlanguage evolves. Thank you.